Okay, here's a biggie. Choosing a dissertation committee chair and choosing a dissertation committee. Like I mentioned before, I would take various faculty members. Sometimes they have different kinds of faculty members. Here we have tenure track faculty and college faculty. These are all legit faculty members that you can work with. The faculty member also needs to have graduate faculty status. That means here at NMSU they're approved to, and keep themselves busy enough and are successful enough with scholarship that they're approved by the graduate school here to work with master's and doctoral students on their research. So they have to have graduate faculty status. If you have somebody on your committee from outside of NMSU, they also need to have something similar from their institution to be able to sit on your committee. So you start taking different professors. Think about recruiting a chair that can bring things that you need to a table. Don't shy away from someone that has a reputation for making students work hard, or has skills that you don't have that can give you extra readings and extra guidance and mentorship so that you too build these skills for when you're a professor and when you're a scholar and researcher on your own. And when you're working with doctoral students, that happens very quickly. It's very trippy. As I said before, don't shy away from challenging or demanding chairs. Changing a chair is okay, especially if a different one or a new one comes into the institution that wasn't there when you started. That happened with me at UCLA, and I wanted to have the new person be in my chair, and I spoke to my current chair, and she suggested that they could co-chair. Perfect idea. Okay, so that's fine. So choosing a different chair is not a problem, but one thing that raises our ears or our eyebrows a little bit is when people are just kind of sampling chairs, or if it looks like they're running away from challenging chairs. So, you may or may not click with the chair that you choose, and that's fine, and vice versa. So we have the right, you have the right, and we have the right as professors to change those relationships and work with others. But if someone's constantly changing chairs, it makes us wonder what's going on. So, but that's how a chair works, choosing one, selecting one. Then I would sit down with that person and say, who do you recommend based on my research interests to fill out the rest of this committee? At NMSU, in curriculum and instruction, you'll have 4 members of your committee. One is your chair from our department. 2 others are also from our department, and 1 is from outside our department. Any other department. It can be in the College of Education or outside the College of Education. But all of these people need to have graduate faculty status. If you want to have somebody from another university altogether, they can be added to this group, as long as your chair agrees and this outside person agrees. This outside person also needs graduate faculty status, and you'll have to work out how they will come here for the different meetings and presentations that you'll do, in person, Skype, phone, and if that's okay with everybody, especially your chair and you. That's how that works. Okay, are you ready for this? The PhD versus the EDD. There's a lot going on here, sort of, but not really. The PhD is a doctor of philosophy. The EDD is a doctor of education. Originally, the EDD was seen as a practitioner's doctorate, someone with an education that maybe wanted to be a superintendent or associate superintendent for curriculum or principal or something like that. And the PhD was seen as the research doctorate, someone who will be a professor and do research and teach. Those distinctions we don't have here at NMSU, and those distinctions exist less and less around the country and the world, I would argue. Others have different opinions. Here at NMSU, here in curriculum and instruction, the PhD and the EDD are both equally rigorous and are both research doctorates. They also cover being practical and teaching and pedagogy, because this is a department of curriculum and instruction, curriculum and pedagogy. And we firmly believe in the notion of praxis. That is the application of theory to practice, and then reflecting on that practice back to change or adapt your theory. So you'll get plenty of both. But both of these are research doctorates. People that go through our program can take any post they want, including one in a district or one as a curriculum specialist. But anyone that graduates from our program can also take a job at any top research institution in this country or in the world. So you should know that. So there's really no difference here, except one. In our program, there used to be more requirement differences. Now there's only one. The only requirement difference is that if you want the PhD instead of the EDD, you have to satisfy a language requirement. This is true for everybody in our program, online students and face-to-face students. What that means is you have to demonstrate academic, written, and spoken fluency in a language other than English. Now, if your native language is other than English, you're probably fluent in that language. If you're applying for our doctoral program, you're probably fluent in English. So all you have to do is demonstrate proficiency to the NMSU Department of Languages and Linguistics in one form or another. And maybe the form that takes can be negotiated, but that's what you have to do. If you speak only English and don't speak another language beyond that, you can learn a language. The original intent behind this is that scholars should be fluent in at least 2 languages so they can read original source texts in their original language. For example, to be able to read Gramsci's Prison Notebooks in Italian, or Freire's Pedagogy the Oppressed in Portuguese, etc., etc. So think about it. Develop some fluency. It will make you a stronger scholar. If that's not an option for you, or not an option that you want to take, you can also satisfy computer language requirements instead. That means taking 6 hours, 2 classes at the 600 level from a list of educational learning technology courses that we have. You take those 6 hours, complete them successfully, and you've met that requirement. So those are the differences between the EDD and the PhD. Please also know, too, as you're thinking about which one that you want, you don't have to have one or the other. It's your choice. But some very prestigious institutions, like Harvard or Teachers College, they only offer the EDD. And actually a third and maybe half of our professors, and we're known in our department as being very rigorous in terms of our scholarship and publication, a third or a half of our folks are EDDs. So really, you can weigh weigh your options and think about what you want to do, but either is very well respected and honored. And those are the differences.